速秘密资讯210篇章。
T 注意 T 的笔字。
G 的笔字。
哦 G 的笔字。
然后笔字要粗的。然后它笔字点住。月。
哇。
这个是正。
哇。浩瀚广阔，尴尬为难，简单容易，讲练诗意。记者啥意思？记者在行，喜欢连续。
Welcome to the Coin Bureau Weekly News Roundup. Here are the top stories in crypto this week. Crypto market top. BTC, ETH and most altcoins jump after inflation figures come in lower than expected. What's next for the crypto market? CFTC versus Binance. US regulators take aim at the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, calling its US operations into question. Why there's no cause for concern just yet? Ethereum upgrade imminent. Developers prepare for ETH unstaking in the face of regulatory uncertainty. Everything you need to know. AI under attack. Italy bans ChatGPT after Elon Musk and thousands of tech executives call on governments to pause AI development. How could this impact the crypto market? And we journey deep into the cryptoverse with the peerless Mr. Benjamin Cowan as our guide. All this and more in just a moment. Good morning, afternoon or evening. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Guy. Nothing you're about to hear is financial advice, and here is the news. Last week, the crypto market posted some modest gains after the Personal Consumption Expenditures Index, or PCE, for February came in slightly lower than expected. For context, the PCE is the Fed's favourite inflation gauge. A lower than expected reading could increase the chances that the Fed will pause to purchase. And yet another driver behind last week's price action was yet another short squeeze from traders who had been aggressively betting that the crypto market would see a correction after weeks of rally. So far, the crypto market has continued to surprise to the upside. Prices are starting to move on sideways. Now this is interesting because it's the same kind of price action we saw the weekend after Silvergate Bank's exchange network, or SEN, was shut down. If you watched our video about Silvergate, you'll know that the SEN was basically used by institutional investors to move money in and out of the crypto market 24/7. It seems that the shutdown of the SEN and the subsequent shutdown of Signature Bank's Signet has significantly restricted the ability for institutional investors in the United States to get direct exposure to the crypto market. The all-time highs on traditional futures exchanges like the CME is evidence of this. As reported by Reuters, the inability for institutional investors to access the crypto market directly has resulted in surprisingly poor liquidity and less market depth. In plain English, it's becoming easier to push the prices of cryptocurrencies up or down with less market. This means more volatility. It could also mean that we're going to continue to see strange price action outside of regular trading days in the United States, namely on weekends. Now, the practical effect of this is that it will become more difficult to use technical analysis because there will be less price action on the analyst. Even so, TA could still work on longer time frames where the price action is more apparent. As you can see, BTC completed a bull flag in March. Short-term indicators suggest BTC is losing momentum, but this could be because of the lack of liquidity and depth. Still, it's been enough to cause traders to go short. What's harder to explain is ETH's apparent weakness against BTC. March was the first time ETH closed beneath the Bollinger Band moving average against BTC since early 2020. Note how this moving average served as support during the bull market. This could foreshadow further lows for ETH and alts. Now, technical analysis aside, what BTC and ETH do in April ultimately depends on all the upcoming macro and crypto factors. There won't be a Fed meeting this month, so macro could finally take a back seat to crypto when it comes to price action. The problem is that the crypto factors are looking worse by the week. If you watched yesterday's video about the Biden administration's crackdown on crypto, you'll know it began in January this year. You'll also know the crackdown seems to have escalated after the White House published its economic report, which included a lengthy section about why crypto is bad. That's because the SEC issued a Wells notice to Coinbase less than 48 hours after the economic report was published. For reference, a Wells notice gives Coinbase 30 days to explain why it should be sued. Unfortunately, the SEC sues in 80% of cases where a Wells notice is issued, regardless of the response. If you've been keeping up with the channel, you'll know I've constantly been reminding you all that the SEC issued a Wells notice to Paxos over its issuance of BUSD in mid-February. It's been more than 30 regular days and more than 30 business days, which is why I expected an actual lawsuit to come soon. What I did not expect, however, was that the CFTC would come out of left field to sue Binance and its CEO Changpeng Zhao just a few days after the SEC sued Coinbase, presumably as part of the crypto crackdown's escalation. The CFTC is alleging that Binance and CZ broke US trading rules. What's concerning is that the lawsuit includes internal discussions at Binance which suggest that the exchange and its top executives were aware that they were in contravention of said rules. As with all stories, however, there are two sides, and both Binance and CZ allege that the lawsuit contains incomplete information. Regardless, the accusations alone have been enough to cause trouble for Binance's US operations, specifically Binance US. For starters, the CFTC lawsuit has reportedly resulted in a pause of Binance US's acquisition of assets belonging to Voyager Digital, a crypto platform which went bankrupt last year. Binance US also suddenly paused certain USD services and delisted BUSD stablecoin trading pairs. Note that second development may not necessarily be related to the CFTC suit. It could very well be related to the SEC's pending lawsuit against Paxos and the fact that Coinbase also recently delisted BUSD. In any case, the real Binance US bombshell was the resurfacing of Catherine Coley, the former CEO of Binance US, who appears to be working with the CFTC. If you're subscribed to my weekly newsletter, you'll know that Catherine had essentially gone missing in 2021, and it's not clear what she's up to now. Now, the good news is that Binance is unlikely to be affected here. That's because Binance itself is not based in the United States. In a worst-case scenario, Binance US could be forced to shut down, as part of Binance's settlement with the SEC, something that's been reported as being a very real possibility. The bad news is that the lawsuit could result in more regulatory scrutiny of Binance elsewhere around the world, particularly in countries closely allied with the United States. However, as we've seen with Hong Kong, there are an equal number of countries that are looking to open their doors to the crypto industry. So, it's not all bad. What is a big deal, though, is Ethereum's upcoming Shanghai upgrade. To quickly recap, Shanghai will make it possible for Ethereum validators to unstake their ETH and any accrued staking rewards. Ethereum developers recently finalized the 12th of April date for the upgrade, so be sure to mark your calendars. Now, besides the potential effects that Shanghai could have on ETH's price, the upgrade is important because it could have an impact on cryptocurrency regulations in the United States and elsewhere. For those unfamiliar, the SEC thinks that every crypto except BTC is a security. Not only that, but SEC Chairman Gary Gensler has repeatedly stated that proof-of-stake cryptocurrencies could be securities in need of strict regulation. Although Ethereum switched to proof-of-stake last September, ETH is still technically a proof-of-work asset. This will change when ETH unstaking is allowed. Given that former SEC Director Bill Hinman said ETH was not a security when it was still in its proof-of-work form, it's possible that the SEC's interpretation of ETH will change after the Shanghai upgrade. Now, whether the SEC would go after Ethereum is another question entirely, and I think it's very unlikely. Still, it's a big enough risk that some Ethereum protocols are taking precautionary measures. One example is liquid staking protocol Lido Finance, which happens to be staking almost a third of all staked ETH. Lido recently announced that it will be releasing NFTs which represent ETH unstaking requests. Now, this is a very small but extremely significant detail because NFTs have somehow not been subject to nearly the same degree of scrutiny as other crypto categories, including from the SEC. In fact, the SEC recently signed off on a crypto project called Freeport, which fractionalizes works of art into NFTs. Lido Finance's use of NFTs in the ETH unstaking process could therefore protect the protocol from regulatory scrutiny by the SEC. Come to think of it, this could also be why Uniswap wasn't targeted by the SEC, while SushiSwap was, despite both being DEXs. All liquidity positions on Uniswap v3 are NFTs. Now, this begs the question of whether other liquid staking protocols and even cryptocurrency exchanges could start to follow suit to protect themselves from similar SEC scrutiny. I would hope that the answer is yes, but something tells me that the SEC will still find a way to go after the ones it doesn't like. So, this begs the question of which crypto companies and protocols the SEC doesn't like, and you'll already know the answer if you watched our video about Signature Bank's takedown. The SEC and other US regulators don't like any crypto projects or companies that compete with the FedNow payment system. While smart contract cryptocurrencies like Ethereum may not be seen as competitors to FedNow, stablecoins certainly are. This is why US regulators are actively targeting stablecoin issuers and why a crackdown is quite likely. Unfortunately, this crackdown may do serious indirect damage to ETH. However, this all assumes that US regulators are still preoccupied with cracking down on cryptocurrency, which may no longer be the case. AI is quickly becoming a much larger threat to government interests, and it's gotten to the point where even OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is concerned. If you watched our video about OpenAI, you'll know that it's the company that created ChatGPT, the famous AI chatbot which recently entered its fourth iteration. This fourth iteration is exponentially more powerful than the third, and the fifth iteration, expected later this year, could seriously disrupt society. It's safe to say that Italy isn't taking any chances. It recently became the first country to ban ChatGPT, citing a breach of data privacy rules. For those who don't know, the EU's data privacy rules are pretty strict. This means that we could soon see other European countries ban ChatGPT for the same reason. Obviously, privacy concerns pale in comparison to the other concerns with ChatGPT. The biggest concern relates to cybersecurity. ChatGPT could be used to hack into critical systems or even develop ransomware technology. It could also be used to develop convincing deepfakes on social media. These are just a few of the reasons why Elon Musk and over 2,600 other tech executives are calling on governments to put a pause on AI development. The open letter published by the Future of Life Institute explicitly states that the development of AI more powerful than ChatGPT-4 should stop for 6 months. It doesn't take an AI expert to understand that this request comes with its own set of concerns, notably that some countries and companies may continue to secretly develop more powerful AI despite the pause. This could result in, shall we say, less savoury countries and companies becoming unstoppable AI leaders. At the same time, there could be incentives for governments to allow AI to continue evolving with no regulations. In theory, flooding the internet with deepfakes is a bad thing because it leads to genuine disinformation. In practice, it could be a good thing from a government's perspective because it justifies forcing everyone to use KYC online. At that point, it becomes possible for governments to control what everyone does and says online. Now, this is an ability that many governments crave, especially those where trust in institutions is low. After all, the system exists to protect itself, and the elites will do whatever it takes to ensure that it stays intact. This is where cryptocurrency comes into the picture, and I foresee one of two scenarios. If other countries start to follow Italy's lead in banning AI, then this will tentatively take the wind out of the sails of the AI-driven tech rally that we've seen over the last few months. This will likely cause a crypto crash. If Italy is an outlier, then you can expect to see a rise in deepfakes on social media over the next few months. You can also expect to see the number of deepfakes go parabolic before the 2024 election in the United States. And of course, you can expect to see KYC requirements to use social media, not just in the USA. Now, believe it or not, but this second outcome could be bullish for cryptocurrency. That's simply because blockchains are immutable, publicly viewable ledgers containing transactions of immutable digital assets. In other words, cryptocurrency is the best way to protect the internet from AI-driven deepfakes. This means NFTs could finally have an actual use case besides sidestepping outdated securities regulations in the United States, but I'll believe it when I see it. Let's hope it doesn't get to that. So, with all that said, let's now turn to Ben Cowan's amazing analysis of the crypto market.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here as always. I thought today we would check in on the total cryptocurrency market capitalization within the context of the fair value logarithmic regression trend line. So the logarithmic regression trend line is this red line here, which is fit to all prior data of the cryptocurrency market cap. And the purpose of this chart is to show the ebb and flow from periods of undervaluation to overvaluation. And so we essentially just go back and forth, and that's the ebb and flow of the market cycle. Now, history would show us, based on what we saw in 2018, 2019, 2020, and then in 2015, 2016, and also in 2012, history would show us that we have a habit of spending quite some time in these undervaluation levels before seeing a sustained push into a bull market that can lead us above the fair value regression trend line for more than just say a month or two, like 2019. What we'll notice is that in 2015, we essentially went sideways until we hit it. And in 2020, we kind of went down until we hit it. And that ultimate level was that lower green regression trend line, which more or less represents an undervaluation of 65%, which is somewhat different from where we currently are at about 42% undervalued. A better way to visualize that, I think, is to take a percent difference of the market cap and the fair value logarithmic regression trend line. And when you do that, you get something that looks like this. And we'll notice that this period, or this phase of 65% undervaluation has only occurred a few times in crypto's history. It occurred in March of 2020, it occurred in September of 2015, and it also occurred in September of 2010. Note that the bear market that was in 2012 did not reach that deep valuation of about 65% undervalued before really going into another sustained bull market into the overvaluation regime that lasted for more than just a few months. But we'll also notice that history shows us, like 2015, that we went sideways until we hit it. 2020 shows us that we went down until we hit it. And so the argument is that, well, if we go sideways until we hit it, it could take until sometime in early 2024. Of course, if we go down and hit it, then it could, of course, occur a lot sooner than that. But it's interesting how oftentimes we'll find ourselves, hitting this deep valuation territory sometime before the next halving. So again, either sideways into it or down into it, and then history shows us that's what really kickstarts a more sustained move by the entire asset class back to the overvaluation territory. It also shows us that in general, 2015 was sort of a recovery year and a great year to get in the market, and so was 2019 and 2020, just like 2011, 2012. So while there's always a chance, of course, that we could push lower into the green regression band or go sideways until we hit it, the argument, of course, is that history will likely remember this as a general recovery year for the cryptocurrency asset class, and it's more or less just taking on a very cyclical behavior like we've seen in prior market cycles. Another way to visualize this, I think, is to overlay this summary risk indicator, the total market cap risk indicator. A couple different risk indicators that we could look at, but if you look at total market cap risk indicator, this is what it looks like. So we go from periods of low risk to high risk, and if we overlay it just for Bitcoin, that accounts for on-chain data and social statistics and then price statistics, we really see that ebb and flow of the cycle from deep value to overvalue, deep value over deep overvalue, and so on and so forth, right? So the whole idea is that the period, the year before the halving year, tends to be a recovery year. It doesn't mean we can't go up, it doesn't mean we can't go down, but it just means there's going to be quite a lot of chop, and we should more or less be expecting that for the duration of this year. So I'm sort of continuing to think of this year as just a year where the market will continue to stay undervalued, and perhaps by 2024 we can see a more sustained push. 2024, 2025, a more sustained push above the fair value logarithmic regression trend line, just like we saw, in 2020, 2021, and just like we saw in 2017 and in 2013 as well. But again, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to again seeing you next week.
Thank you, Ben. Ben and I will be doing our weekly live stream on Thursday with Rob from Digital Asset News hosting us on his channel. So, join two of the finest minds on crypto YouTube and yours truly from 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Gulf Time. And this year's Coin Bureau live event will be taking place in London on the 10th of June. It's going to be a great day, and there are still a few tickets available, but they're going fast. So, link below to secure yours now. Can't wait to see you there. And that is all for today's Coin Bureau Weekly Crypto Review. If you enjoyed it, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe button, and the bell button too. If you're looking to help those gains grow, then the Coin Bureau deal page is where you should go. There are thousands of dollars in bonuses, trading discounts, and products to help you trade like a pro. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in next week's episode.
20分钟左右差不多了，我啊。这个哪去？对。
That's not the case.
2 seconds of Elizabeth Warren's enough to make me want to put glass in my drink. small people. One of the smallest people that's ever been in the studio is about to walk up here right now. One of the smallest people. Don't tell them about my mat that makes me an inch taller.
One of the smallest people that's ever been in the studio. What is wrong with you, sir?
Oh, you're very small, Wendy. Look, you make me look tall.
Hey.
Oh, I'm saying on a map too. I am taller, of course, than Wendy. Wendy is here. We're starting a new podcast. So we're going to be recording that while we're here. What do you want to tell the people about it?
I want to tell the people that I'm better than Ben. I'll always be better than Ben. And even though you guys can't see me because I'm a small person, you can definitely hear me.
Yes. I don't know. Oh. What was that? What was that? Talk about crypto influencers. New data from an analytics platform Into the Blocks reveals that long-term Bitcoin holders snapped up billions of dollars worth of the teen crypto. Wendy, what's your favorite nickname for Bitcoin?
Miss B,
Miss B.
because it's a woman.
Bitcoin is a woman?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean.
Because
women,
Satoshi Nakamoto was a man.
well, Satoshi Nakamoto could be a man, but men like to refer to their cars as
Yeah.
women. You guys as boats.
Yeah.
You guys as trusty steeds, generally as women. And Bitcoin is very irrational, like Mother Nature, and like women. We're very emotional creatures, so I call her Miss B.
Women have feelings?
Actually, men have bigger feelings than.
Yeah, that's right. It's huge. Got a huge feeling. Robert DeAngelis. Don't listen to crypto-only influencers. They always call for big collapses.
Do you want to know the interesting thing about that?
And hyperinflation, because they need that for Bitcoin. We need that for Bitcoin. The Fed will step in, yes, Wendy.
The thing is like, just because we talk about crypto doesn't mean we don't have like real life experience with other things.
Yeah.
Like crypto and Bitcoin is still kind of new, like
Yeah.
what, like 14 years, 15 years, 10 years. So
14.
we generally have, ideas about things that happen. And I'm kind of old, so
Yeah.
I remember.
We're both old.
I
We're both
remember
very old.
2008. Do you remember 2008?
Yes. I was in rehab. Yeah, that's true, actually.
I was not in rehab at that time. Maybe before that.
Maybe before that. Perfect.
I did listen to Amy Winehouse.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, that's actually what inspired me to go. I didn't even have a drunk. I just love that song. I think that, guys, the people making these videos are pretty smart. I don't know if you guys know that. Still trying to get my Mensa card, by the way. I cannot get them to respond to me via email. Mensa, hire somebody smart that will respond to emails. But I think that when you're looking at that kind of comment, you're saying, what are you saying? What you're saying here is that I have a hidden motivation to talk about banks collapsing. We've been talking about it for 5 years on this channel, and guess what happened? They collapsed. I didn't need them to collapse. In fact, Signature Bank was my bank. My bank. I didn't need them to collapse. Now I don't have a debit card. Thank you, Signature Bank. Guys, the people that know the most about crypto, this is shocking with me. The people that know the most about crypto, they're in crypto. Guys. Italy's ChatGPT ban prompts criticism from Deputy PM Matteo Salvini. I talked a lot about AI this weekend because it's been Gert's interview. And let's see. Italy is looking to ban ChatGPT. Wow.
They tend to have that stance. India and Italy both tend to have that stance on a lot of newer things. Let's just ban it, and then let other people figure out, and if it's decent, we'll bring it back, rather than try to lead market innovation.
Well, they always put I first.
I says, ha.
Yeah, they always put I first. They're always looking out for the government's needs, not the retail investors. India and Italy, always with the I first. See, because they both start with I. You get the truth.
Their language is different than.
How do you say I in Italian?
I actually should know this. I'm probably Slack.
Coinbase co-founder Brian Armstrong took to Twitter to express his disagreement with the letter. Now, Ben Goertzel said on that interview that he refused to sign that thing that Elon Musk passed around.
"大家好，今天聊3个话题。第一个话题我们聊一下马斯克喊话，狗狗呢跳起来了。第二呢，我们聊一下火币呢会再次改价吗？第三呢，我们聊一下在加密牛市的前夜还是应该系统的学习一下。让我们继续区块链日记，今天的时间是2023年的4月4日，澳大利亚中午时间早上8点06分。今天是区块链日记的1722期。先说第一件事儿马斯克喊话，狗狗币跳起那今天早上呢我大一早上起来，我发现狗狗币呢突然上涨了20%左右然后呢我马上看马斯克说啥了结果一看呢，的确是马斯克说了马斯克呢说了什么事儿呢？我们知道呢，每次呢马斯克呢谈到加密货币的时候呢谈到某一个项目的时候呢，这个项目呢都会有比较大的涨幅大家都有这个某种期许因为呢，的确呢，在马斯克在的这个特斯拉基因链生态里面呢，是需要有这个加密货币的这样的一个存在，而且呢，这个生态当中对应的价值呢，规模非常之大，所以马斯克呢，在他的商业帝国当中选用什么样的项目可能呢，对这个项目未来的走向呢，都会带来一些巨大的价值增值。那现在我们看一下马斯克在这个过程当中说了什么。我现在看到的是在19小时之前马斯克呢先发了一个这个Twitter上面呢是一个他貌似是一个警察的人站在一个绿色的车子旁边这个车子上面呢是一个蝴蝶是一个蝴蝶然后呢这个警察正在查这个貌似在查驾照，驾照上面呢是一条虫子这个蝴蝶在说他说这个老照片上是什么呢大概是这样的一张图片但是呢这张图片呢在3个小时之前变化了3个小时之前变化了，变化成什么呢这个依然呢是一个警察然后呢这个车子当中的这个蝴蝶呢变成了长着翅膀的狗狗长着翅膀的狗狗，然后呢警察拿着这个驾照上看的这个图片呢是 Twitter 那意思呢就是 Twitter 是过去，那未来呢就是这个狗狗呢似乎呢给人太多的猜想当然呢马斯克在上面呢在2个小时之前还发了一个推说什么呢是说呢引用了一个朋友对他的建议这个朋友跟他说呢他问这个朋友是不是应该有一个新的平台那个朋友说呢说是要摆这个买 Twitter 就可以了，然后呢他说是把这个Twitter 的这个鸟的图像呢换成狗狗的图像然后呢他说这也蛮有意思的就是马斯克曾经在这个引用了一个跟另外一个朋友的互动意思就是说要把这个 Twitter 呢换成了这个鸟换成狗是这样的，所以呢又一次谈到了狗狗当然在这个30分钟之前吧在这个42分钟之前他又发了一张比较复杂的图像，里面呢也谈到了也对这个所谓的秘密就是这样的一种这个公认就这种类型公认的一种喜爱等等这一系列似乎呢马斯克今天在这个10几个小时左右呢几次谈到了狗狗看这个架势呢狗狗还是会更高一些我们知道呢每次当马斯克谈到在他的生态当中希望有什么想法的时候呢与此相关的项目都会有很大的变化。前一次呢谈到了 Beauty 还有一次呢谈到了 Mini Doge 那这次呢当然谈到了他最喜欢的就是 Doge 狗狗马斯克被誉为狗狗的CEO 现任 CEO 被这样的被狗狗就去尊称为狗狗的 CEO 这是跟这件事情相关的当然呢今天还有一件事儿呢是让大家呢又有点担心，为什么呢？又有江湖传言说是呢这个火币有可能呢再次改价这火币真的是这个我们知道火币本来是这个全球最主要的加密货币交易所曾经一度一定程度上呢是超过币安那现在呢已经被币安的甩了十几条街了那现在火币的整个的这个规模呢大概在行业当中呢只能排到10几的这样的一个地位现货交易只能排19期货交易排10就是基本上已经出了前10位了 但是在这样的情况下呢，四 D 呢似乎呢火币呢又有再次转让股权的这种可能性为什么呢？我们今天看到呢一个彭博社一个援引一个消息人士称说是孙宇晨呢已经就出售这个火币的股份呢在进行谈判了当然呢这个原因呢是因为孙宇晨这段时间呢确实碰到很多情况包括呢这个要卸任格林纳达的WTO 的大使等等这个呢由于格林纳达本身这个国家内部的这个重新选举政党的更替所以呢孙宇晨先生呢要卸任咱们的这个格林纳达的这个大使当然同时还有其他的一些事情包括这个SEC 的一些这个诉讼等等导致呢这个大家呢认为孙宇晨呢的确有各种各样的这样的一些消息这种情况下那火币会不会这个去重新的去再次转手呢？当然目前这个孙宇晨呢还说这只是一个愚人节的消息就是他认为呢不会转手但是呢我们知道孙哥的很多想法很多做法都是远远超乎地球人的考虑所以呢会有什么样的结果不得而知。但是不管怎么样那目前呢这个火币这件事情似乎呢又存在着各种各样的传言，我们希望呢火币还是早点稳定下来我们知道呢前几天呢也有很多在火币上的一些操作上碰到的一些问题，很多朋友呢有反映我们希望呢火币呢还是要做扎实自己的整个服务让这么好的一个项目呢不要半途夭折能够早点稳定下来似乎是非常必要的好，这是跟火币相关的事儿。但是今天呢，我也想特别说一件事情就是我们那个明天我们的这个财富密码班这个赢家课程、赢家陪伴课程要开始了为什么有这个课程呢？因为的确呢，在加密牛市的前夜很多朋友还是要稍微的系统的学习一下。这些天呢，有很多朋友随着这个比特币价格今年涨了70%，随着市场的开始有些门动很多朋友呢开始打听相关的事儿，包括有些新手朋友开始打听怎么样去买比特币怎么样去存以太坊怎么样去买这个无聊猿 NFT 怎么样去这个保证资产安全等等但是呢，很多朋友在了解这些事情的时候呢都是问一个一个的问题比如呢怎么样用冷钱包然后呢怎么样平台上怎么交易那我呢这段时间呢真的是帮了有很多朋友来请教，包括这个写西人朋友这个华人朋友很多这个事情有的时候问起来呢你觉得很尴尬，为什么呢？可能就是有的时候在一边吃饭一边聊，有的时候在一边这个参加什么活动一边可能几分钟的一件事儿都说不明白那这个朋友呢往往呢就是可能就是他就喜欢一件事儿一件事儿的学，所以他学的这个跟加密市场相关的操作方法呢都是非常散的非常容易丢的出问题比如呢他们学着去交易，但是交易当中特别注意的事情呢不清楚，结果呢一不留神去做杠杆这个因为他开了 OK 可能他去币安就特别容易做这些东西做这些东西实际上是非常容易另外有些朋友呢可能就是说不会这个去存冷钱包，然后呢转的过程当中呢钱就转丢了还有一些朋友呢不了解这个市场当中自媒体各种各样的这个媒体可能带给你的这样的一个然后呢去做选，然后钱包就被清空了就这样的很多问题呢它实际上是一个要进这个市场呢还是要稍微系统的学习一下不一定到我们这里虽然我们明天开课不一定就是到我们的班但是呢我非常就是坦诚的跟您说，您还是要系统的学一下，起码把操作的这个过程流程相关的风险控制呢要学习一下，否则您进这个市场呢简直就好像是一头雾水然后市场当中呢你好像是没有穿戴任何装备没有拿任何武器，没有拿任何装备然后去上战场一样，这是非常非常危险我们知道加密市场是一个非常非常危险的市场包括它的价格的波动包括呢黑客的行为包括操作过程中技术这个可能由于这个搞错了链搞错了你钱就没了等等这个非常风险还是非常大的所以呢我建议很多朋友在进入这个市场之前或者这个稀里糊涂进来了但很多事儿没搞明白呢你真的是要稍微系统学习一下否则呢对您造成的损失可能是一种灾难性的损失好的这是今天一个特别和伙伴们说一下另外呢就是我们明天呢我们加密财富密码班新手赢家陪伴课为什么陪伴你呢可能要用1个月左右的时间一直呢有朋友帮助你怎么样把这项这个事儿给大家也算是专门进行一个课程针 这种方面的要求啊。好的这是今天的事情。最后我们看一下数字货币市场的情况吧。当然比今天的这个结构是跃升了很多我们看一下其他的情况怎么样。好，
我们今天换了一个新背景，因为今天呢，想跟大家聊一个轻松点的话题，但是呢，非常的实用，就是我们如何学习，如何思考。感觉什么这么大，有点空的话题你听我慢慢说。前两天我就收到一条私信，说，小林姐，你每次在整理内容的时候是如何在大量繁杂的信息当中找到一条清晰的脉络？其实我经常会收到这种类似的问题，说，我是如何做一期内容的？如何快速了解一个行业？老板给我一个大项目，那么多信息，我该从哪入手？我也不知道为什么我好像就给大家一个，这个思路非常清晰的形象。所以我就进行了一个深入的反思，我就发现这里边确实是有一些方法和套路，确实是帮助我从上学、学习、上班，然后创业到现在做视频，都还挺有帮助。有的时候你甚至都没意识到我在用这个方法论，但是问题很快就解决。你是不是觉得有那么神吗？咱废话少说今天就先分享一下。就我们经常遇到一个挺复杂的事儿，比如说我要做一个大 project， 或者我要准备一期硅谷银行，再比如说我想开个奶茶店，对吧？很多小伙伴第一件事肯定是上网直接搜如何开一家奶茶店。好，我们面对这么多庞杂的信息，产生的第一个问题就是我到底该从哪入手？这时候我个人感觉最关键也是最难的一点，就是你怎么把这些信息在他的脑子里让它形成一个框架，形成一些线。这样你把它的脉络梳理清楚了，才更方便你去记忆和理解。就好像我们把自己的脑子想象成一个你的家、你的房间，要来了一件衣服，你知道放在衣柜里；来了个碗，我知道放在厨房。就每一个信息它都有自己分门别类的地方。你比如说有些那种记忆大师，让他记52张牌，他是怎么记下来？他可能就想象说，我现在进了一个房间，这是个黑桃沟吧？可能想着一个什么戴黑帽子的人在那拿这把刀，他就想象一个黑桃，然后走完一个房间，就把这52张牌全都记住了。所以你看刚不管是说我们给自己建了一个屋子，还是给这些数字找到了他们之间的关系，都是要找到这些繁杂信息它们当中的一个联系，也就是这个结构。你点题了总结下来呢，其实就是一个结构化的思维方式。你别看这个词儿听着好像结构化很简单，但是你慢慢就会发现那些逻辑思维能力很强、学习能力很强的人，他们就是潜移默化的在用这个方式去学习、去思考、去解决问题。比如说，如果你想最快速的了解一个国家经济，那你最主要的就是看 GDP， 看物价，CPI， 看就业情况。GDP 里头呢，它还会分比如消费、出口、投资等等的。然后你要看一个国家政策呢，那无非就是财政政策、货币政策。这些政策会联动到二级市场，有股市、债市、货币市场、衍生品等等等等。就是你看着非常非常繁杂，但其实你用这个框架这么一套，就清晰了。包括我们为什么喜欢看罗翔老师的视频，每次都是有理有据，框架清晰。在你看来可能听个段子，但今天怎么着了，犯了一个 A 法的什么东西，犯了个 B 法的什么东西，在罗翔老师的脑子里，那就是有一个框架的，有 ABCDEFG 法，每个法里面都有什么什么条。所以就是当我们碰到一个新的领域的时候，重点不是在于学习某一个具体的法条它到底是怎么回事，而是能够先建立起来这么一个知识框架。这样当你有这个框架的时候，不管是理解新的信息，还是想给别人表达，还是之后再有新信息记录的时候，你可以加到这个既有的框架里，都可以帮你更快速的去理解。这就好像所有的知识信息在脑子里，它就像有一棵树一样的，每次来新的信息，你就知道在哪个树枝上，慢慢你这个树就会枝繁叶茂，树大根深，你的知识体系就更丰满。但是你假设要没有这么一棵树，你每次一个树叶你就记下来，每次来个树叶你就记，就算你记忆力再好，你之后找信息的时候就一地树叶就非常麻烦，而且很有可能风一吹就散了。归根结底，我们总结一下，当我们想学习一个新的体系的时候，你了解这个体系的框架或者整个知识的脉络，比我们去仔细的抠某一个具体的知识点，可能对我们帮助提升更大。好，那下一个更重点的问题就来了，那如何建立这个框架呢？首先我觉得最显而易见的一点就是你可以参考一个别人已有的框架，因为大多数情况下我们要学的知识不可能是我要什么爱因斯坦我去研究一个谁都没考虑过的问题，这个事儿80%已经有人去思考过，或者写成书，或者有课程去解决了。所以你站在巨人的肩膀上就会省去你大量的时间。比如说我要讲一期利率的视频，最偷懒的方式，我先拿一本教材，对吧？我看一看人家是怎么讲，我甚至都不用具体去读每个细节你就把 这个目录或者框架给摘出来，这样就可以帮助你自己先理清思路。或者如果你要是想省事儿，想快速了解一下的话呢，一般我的做法就是找一些可信的信息源，然后去搜一下那种比如说一文了解什么什么8分钟带你理清什么什么框架，找一些这种类型的文章，先帮助自己把这个思路和体系给建立起来。当然现在你可能也可以直接问问 AI 就做个参考，现在肯定不可能100%正确但是随着你一步一步问，它真的能帮你把这些问题和框架给梳理一下，而且它现在进化这么快，之后80%也会越来越完善。也就是说，当我们在一片混沌、很多信息的时候，我们的第一目标是把自己的思路和框架给理清楚。所以你一定要抑制住自己想去看一些那些新闻呀、什么八卦呀、小道消息啊这方面的那个欲望。你可能就看个标题，知道 OK， 硅谷银行倒了，谁谁谁有可能要收购它，就完事儿了。你不用具体去了解那个信息，不然你就是一整天一个满脑子八卦的小灵通，也没有完全就不好。但是咱不是想建立知识体系嘛，所以可以往前面这步靠一靠。其实这棵树的结构一开始并不一定非得像我们教科书似的，好分大章、节、小节，每个知识点感觉特别的复杂。不用，因为这个知识树最主要的目的是帮助我们去理解知识，去记住这些信息，所以它可以是很简单，就一条线，甚至它可能很奇葩都没关系，只要对自己有用就行。就我其实在我每段视频里最花精力或者说最费脑细胞的，并不是仔细去查每一个故事、每个数据或者细节，而是把这棵树、这个框架给建立出来，然后再把这些信息啊、八卦啊、事实啊都给塞进去，这样才能让这个线比较丰满。那好，我先来说说我一般是怎么捋这个框架体系的第一招，我觉得非